I came here on the F1 visa. I got married last month. So my visa expired. I graduated in 2020. I got pregnant in 2020, had a baby with my husband now. Then he was my fiancé. But we got married last month. We wanted to put in the application
Great.
for, like he wants to file for me.
Great.
The issue is because I was out of status and I was working to support myself as well, even though my work authorization expired after the OPT, the 1-year OPT.
Mm-hmm. You're married to a U.S. citizen, right?
Yes, I'm married to a
Okay.
U.S. citizen.
So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, what the law says is any unlawful employment is forgiven.
Okay.
If you worked unlawfully, being married to a U.S. citizen, that unlawful employment is forgiven and cannot prevent you from getting a green card. CE user, can an F1 student change to a green card through employment during OPT or F1 and CPT? Yes, perhaps yes, absolutely. As long as it's prospective employment, unless you're working legally on OPT. Cardo Forster, can an employer who is willing to sponsor my EB3 green card, I'm in the U.S. on an H-2B, can adjustment of status be done given that I am a schedule to work and the employer already has their prevailing wage determination? If you have a prevailing wage determination, you still have to do the perm application. If you can get the perm application approved before your H-2B has expired, your employer should be able to file an I-140 visa petition and file an adjustment for you concurrently. So the answer would be yes, but you got to get that perm application approved first. The longest period of time to get the perm application approved is that PWD, that prevailing wage determination. So if he already has that, you're already more than halfway through that perm application already. So if your employer is willing to do the perm application for you and you get it approved within a matter of months and you're still in legal status when it's approved and you can quickly file that I-140 and adjustment, absolutely go for it.
I'm currently on a TN1 visa from Canada. I'm a Canadian citizen. I have family, 2 kids, so they are on TDs because they're dependent. Now, what's the best way to get a green card?
What type of work do you do?
Vice president for a bank.
You can perhaps do a job sponsorship, a perm. That would probably be the fastest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you qualify for a national interest waiver, I don't know. Depends on, IT sometimes can be a national interest waiver if you are doing something, regarding maybe security with a bank, or I don't know. We would have to get into the nitty-gritty of what you do. Because if you could do a national interest waiver, you would shave probably 9-12 months of waiting. If not, you would do a perm application, prove you're not taking a job away from an American worker. That's the way to do it. Problem with doing a perm, you only get 1 year, incrementally 1 year on a TN visa. And if you're not eligible to adjust your status yet, you may have a problem renewing your TN because TN is non-immigrant intent and filing a perm shows your immigrant intent. So that's why a lot of people like to do the national interest waiver, because then usually you don't run into that problem unless it becomes a huge visa backlog. But we would need to have a consultation with you to figure it out. But the short answer is you're going to get sponsored in a job.
I have a I-130 and I-485 pending, but I'm going to switch my case to VAWA. I was waiting to get my work permit first before I do VAWA, but the work permit is taking a long time. Well, it's been over 7 months now, and I haven't received it. If I do withdraw my case, the I-130, will that push me back from getting the work permit?
Well, you have an adjustment pending. So if you withdraw the I-130 and convert the adjustment to a VAWA adjustment, it won't affect your work permit. Sophia Henderson. Hello, uncle. Asking for a friend. She got an RFE, but after she got that, she was sent to do her biometrics. Will they approve the work permit? Only if she responds to the RFE, and only if she responds to the RFE properly. Other than that, she will not get a work permit. Rita, how long after receiving a work permit, VAWA, will you receive an interview? It's almost 3 years since the person filed. It depends on how you got your work permit. If you got your work permit based on a VAWA approval and you filed an adjustment application simultaneously, you should get an interview in about 10 months. If you have a work permit through a pending adjustment and your VAWA has not approved yet, you got to wait on the VAWA approval, which takes about 3 years, so hopefully very soon.
I got married to
he was a green card holder at first. And after I got married to him, I submitted my I-130 because I know he wasn't a citizen. He became a citizen like 2 months later. And then I submitted my 485, all the other documents.
Okay, sounds good so far.
This was in November. And then I did my fingerprint in January. How much longer do I have to wait? Do you know?
When did you get filed?
So I submitted the I-130 in June, and then I submitted the rest of the documents in November.
Okay. So you filed an adjustment in November?
Yes.
Of 20, and you got fingerprinted. You're asking how long to wait for your work permit or how long to wait for your green card, or both?
For the work permit, because I did my fingerprint in January.
So the work permit, generally, assuming you did everything right, the work permit should come about 6 to 7 months after you filed your adjustment, assuming you fingerprinted, in about 2 months after you filed, which it sounds like what you did. So if you filed in November, that's December, January, February, March, April, May or June. And then towards the end of 2023, your green card interview.
I would just like to know if I did work unauthorized, if it would be a problem with my green card application.
Who's sponsoring you?
My wife.
Your wife's a citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The fact that you worked illegally, unlawfully, whatever you want to call it, does not bar you from getting a green card.
Okay.
So the answer is no. You will be able to get a green card if you worked unlawfully or didn't work unlawfully, being married to a U.S. citizen and filing your adjustment. Lying about unlawful employment would get you denied. So if, for example, one of the questions is, say what your employment is, and you say none, and USCIS finds out that you've been working unlawfully for 5 years, they're going to deny you for lying. So you want to tell the truth. The only time unlawful employment can come back and bite you is if that unlawful employment was within the first 90 days of your entry into the U.S. or within 90 days of you changing your status within the U.S. As long as you didn't work unlawfully the first 90 days of your entry, any unlawful employment after the first 90 days gets you a green card. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.